Hello, I think. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining. Let's just fix the. Okay, let's just fix your request and add. There we go. I think I've added Carla. Yes, there we go.
Hello.
Hello.
How are
How are
you?
you?
Good, and you?
I'm good, thanks. So today we're talking to you.
You are.
All things ultra running, all things running. And I mean, yeah, I think you're the perfect person to talk to. I mean, you're an expert in ultra running. And you've got some really interesting content on your social media as well. And I think that's pretty helpful for some people. And I mean, you've won the 50-kilometer world championships. You've broken a world record before. You've got 7 comrades medals, of which 3 are gold medals. One year you just missed that sub 6 hour barrier. Um, I'm sure that was like one of those moments. But yes, you're an expert in ultra running, Carla, and I mean, thank you for taking time, and let's have some fun.
Thank you. Firstly, love your nails.
Thank you. A little birdie tells me that you were doing a long run this morning.
Oh, I had to do it this afternoon because I went to Joburg last night and then I had to do it at lunchtime today, which was, yeah, a little bit hard because it was
Okay.
hot,
Oh,
but it's
nice.
done.
Ah. And I mean your social media. I mean, I looked through your social media page. It's you've got some brilliant content there. And I think it's quite helpful for some people that are sort of trying to get into the sport of running and they don't know what to do, how to do it. So what inspired that and what made you do this kind of content?
Yeah, thanks. I try and put stuff up there that either I found interesting or I think that we can kind of learn from or try to make some stuff a little bit simpler because there's so much information when it comes to running in terms of
Mm.
nutrition, kit, how to train. And yeah, if I can help people by making it a little bit easier, then I want to try and do that. And then also just try and add in like a little bit of fun and I also quite like food. So I think like that kind of like runs quite a lot through what I do on social media as well. I say that as I've got a bolognese cooking on the stove at the moment. I can smell it. It's so good.
I mean, earlier on, I saw you had some interesting sandwich. You had mango in your sandwich.
Yeah, it was so good. Tuna, mayo, red onion, mango, parmesan, toast it in a pan.
Yeah, that's an interesting
I
combination.
know. I thought so too, but it worked.
And then you've also got this app that you've got. Can you tell people about that app? What is that app all about?
Yeah, so I set up, it's called SCY for runners, Strength Conditioning and Yoga for Runners. And it was during the pandemic in 2022, I was starting to do like yoga for runner sessions and strength for runner sessions that I found online. But the teachers were like, get your leg and wrap it around your head and bend to the moon. I'm like, I can't do that. And they were doing these massive long strength sessions that were like 3 hours long. And I was like, no, man, like there must be a better way. So I went and did my yoga course, and I'd done sports science at university and I'd done my personal training and strength courses. And I thought I could try and make a better package, which is like yoga and strength. Well, the yoga's more mobility and strength designed, especially for runners with our very short attention spans. So the sessions are like 30 minutes, you get in, you get out.
Oh,
And yeah, just that you can do anywhere at home, at the gym, in a park, wherever you choose, because I think sometimes those kind of things can be a little bit intimidating. So I basically just talk through the session. All you have to do is press play, follow along. I tell really rubbish stories, and hopefully it just takes the edge off and makes you forget what you're doing whilst you're doing the
Ah,
session. So that's
that is
the
so
idea behind
cool.
it.
Ah, that's so cool. And it's 3.5 weeks till two oceans.
Yeah.
How are the nerves? How are you? Are you ready?
Well, on my run today, when I was running up the hill here, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to die! I'm going to die!" And I didn't. I'm here, and I think that's kind of like quite important because in the this period, we're all going to think, "I haven't done enough training. I haven't done
Mm.
enough hills. I'm not strong enough. I'm not fast enough." But you are. So you've got to like reflect on those sessions. And yeah, I feel good and I'm really excited now. Like actually Cape Town Cycle Tour this weekend made me very excited about racing because you just have that buzz in the city and everyone is here to
Mm.
race and you're like, oh my God, I want that. So
Ah.
it's coming
Ah.
soon.
Oh. And so for other people who are watching now, they've registered for Two Oceans. Some may be first time doing it. Some have probably done it for a few times. As an expert in ultra running, what would you suggest they should be doing right now?
To be honest, most of your training is probably done right now. You've probably got time for one more long run this weekend. I'm doing my last long run this weekend. And in that, you probably just want to fine tune a couple of things. I would probably go and run in the kit that you want to run in race day.
Oh.
Check where that it fits properly. If it's chafing anywhere, maybe you need like extra anti-chafe for race day. Wear your socks, be happy that you look good and you feel good. Everything fits properly. You're wearing the right shoes. You're practicing your race nutrition. Then, like writing it all down. And then in this next couple of weeks, I always like to go through my race plan where I draw out either the race profile or the route of the course. And then I'll go through that and be like, okay, this hill's going to hurt. This is where my friends are going to be. This is my favorite part of the race. I might see a dolphin here and jot those things down. Because then at least when you're in the race and you're like, this is hurting, you're like, well, I knew it was going to hurt, so it's fine. And oh yeah, I must look at the view and look for my dolphins.
Yeah.
So now's the time to do all of that and yeah, just zone in a little bit and focus on, think about what your goals are going to be and make sure that they're realistic and it's not like, I want to be queen of the world. We all want to be queen of the world, but
And you're talking about what they can, what they should be doing now.
yeah.
What should they not be doing right now?
Um, oh, I have a lot of people saying, surely I need to go and run an ultra before I run an ultra.
Oh.
Like, you definitely don't. So please don't think you need to go out like this weekend or
Ooh.
next weekend to go and run 56K to like make sure that you can do it because you can. You've got to kind of trust the training and the process that you'll
Mm.
be fine come race day. So just don't go and do something stupid. If you've never ridden a bike before, maybe now is not the time to go and do mountain biking or to take up CrossFit. Let's maybe do that afterwards and just be a little bit sensible
Okay.
in this last 3 weeks.
And you spoke about the chaffing a little bit earlier on. Long runs have got a tendency, you get the blisters, you get the sunburn, you get the
Hmm.
chaffing.
Yeah.
Ultra running has got all these nice goodies that it gives
Yeah.
you. So how can people prevent those kind of things? Like what do you do to prevent those kind of after effects?
So I always put on a thing on my feet called Happy Toes.
Okay.
It's like a balm that it's by Squirrel's Nut Butter, and you literally just rub it on your feet, and then I put my socks on. So that tends to stop the majority of blisters and getting good running socks, like proper running socks. They say nothing new on race day, but I like a fresh pair of socks for race day. It just makes me feel good. So making sure you've got like a nice comfortable pair of socks, maybe some anti-chafe on your feet, and then yeah, anti-chafe on your body. I chafe walking down the road, so just get that stuff and I just put it everywhere, either using, there's loads of different ones, but Body Glide, Arse Magic, Squirrel's Nut Butter are all great. And I just rub that everywhere. And I always miss a patch, which is infuriating when I'm racing. Every time. I'm like, and then you get in the shower and it's like the worst thing that you've
It
ever
burns.
experienced.
Ugh.
And then, yeah, it's hard with the suntan stuff. Like I try and use factor 50 and I'll put it on in the morning before, but ultimately we're sweating and it's hot and you are out there for a long time. So just put on as much as you can and just hope you don't get sunburnt. But yeah, sometimes that's part of it.
And with the socks, is it like the thicker the socks, the better? The thinner the socks, the better? What kind of socks do you normally?
I really like the like Versus Elite socks. They're like quite, they've got like a little bit of cushioning on the bottom, but then they're quite thin on the rest of the sock. But it's basically what you think is most
Oh,
comfortable. If
okay.
you go down to like your local running shop, there's loads of different brands. They're all pretty good. I just probably wouldn't go for like, you know, socks that you get in the supermarket. They're probably not ideal. Yeah, that's probably one thing that I would spend a little bit of money on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you know, athletes, runners can get a bit of,
Mm.
and they get a bit too excited. Person is starting off with ultras. They decide they're gonna register for two oceans. They're gonna register for comrades, and do them all in one year.
Mhm.
So a person who's decided to do that this year, maybe they're doing it for the first time. How would you, and maybe someone who's tried it before
Mm.
and did not succeed. So how would you, you know, suggest, what would you suggest for a person who's trying to do that? How should they approach it?
Yeah, I did that for the first time 2 years ago. And going into two oceans, I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know like how I would feel afterwards. So I actually went into the race a bit more cautiously. And I was like, the first half of the race, I'm just going to run a little bit slower than I would if I was just doing two oceans on
Mm.
its own. And then once I got to the hills, I could open it up and go a little bit harder in the second half of the race. So I'd probably do that, like err on the side of caution going into oceans, and almost use it as a long training run for comrades. Again, practicing everything, not going off that hard in the beginning, but you can go a little bit harder towards the end of the race if your legs still feel good. And then I would say what's probably the most important is that 1 week to 2 weeks post oceans, you need to recover. So you need to finish the race. You need to, we are going to have a little bit of downtime. Don't be scared to take a few days off. Listen to your body. Some people, you might be able to run the next day and you feel absolutely fine.
Ooh,
Someone else, yeah, you might feel like you've been hit by a bus and you need a week off. Like taking a week off, you are not going to lose your
okay.
fitness. So the recovery in that week, making sure that you are eating properly, you're getting loads of protein in because you've like broken down your muscles. Obviously, we need to replenish our carb stores, but the recovery, getting lots of protein and getting some really good night's sleep, maybe getting a sports massage or doing a self massage with a foam roller in that week is super important. And just if you kind of get sucked into what everyone else is doing, maybe don't go on Strava for a week and look at what everyone's doing and going, Barbara's doing a 3 hour run. I need to go and do a three
Oh
hour run. Like,
dear.
listen to yourself. And if you find that you get tempted into that sort of thing, just take a little step back and do what's right for you.
Mm.
Because if you recover properly in that week, that 10 days, you will then perform so much better. And actually, this year is actually a really great year to do both because we've got 8 weeks in between the two races. So there's more time.
And you spoke about people going onto other people's Strava and looking at what other people are doing.
Mm.
There's this saying that people call the microwave training, where people want to try and fit in everything before a competition. So, for someone who's considering doing both these next year,
Mm.
when would you propose they start training for both Comrades and Two Oceans? And how would they sort of start approaching the whole thing?
Um, yeah, so I would probably aim for maybe getting your qualifier in about like October, November time. So it's done, it's in the bag, you don't have to worry about it. You can then enjoy your family time, your holidays over December, and then in January, it's a long build. So you've got to remember that, like it's 6 months, but to get ready for Oceans, you kind of want about 16 weeks before Oceans and then that leading into Comrades. But you can also do your qualifier within that time. But I think I did mine in December in Valencia, and it was really nice having done it and not to worry about it, because sometimes the weather can be quite bad or things just don't go to plan. So yeah, maybe look at a qualifier October, November, December, enjoy the holidays. People say you have to start training in December. You don't. Um, have that downtime and that rest. And I really enjoyed doing that this year. And then you've got like your 16-week build from the beginning of end of Jan, I think roughly, beginning of Feb. But it's a long time.
So, so you've done a lot of competitions abroad, and also, obviously here in South Africa as well. Can you maybe tell us the difference between doing the ultras abroad, and also the ultras here in South Africa, but also with looking at the initiatives that they do pertaining to the participation of women in the
Mm.
sport?
Um, yeah, ultra running in South Africa is wild. It's so much fun. It's like the ultras are completely different and like out of this world. Like most ultras abroad, you might get like 200 people on the start line. Here we've got like 20,000.
Sure.
And like I try and explain that to my friends abroad. I'm like, you haven't done an ultra until you've done Oceans or Comrades, because they just hit differently. And like the support along the route at them is just insane. Like normally, yeah, an ultra abroad, you get a few people along the way, but yeah, it's special here. It's really fun. There's lots of opportunities to race really well and have. I do think we've got like the highest caliber road
Oh,
running
oh,
events in the world,
okay, wow.
which I think is really cool. Yeah, two of the biggest ones are here, which I think we should be very proud of.
Yeah, and I almost feel like marathon running is centered around those two as well
Yeah,
here in South Africa. And just talking about one of those two, I mean, I've had an instance where at school, one girl was like, she's not taking part in today. She's not competing because she's on her periods,
yeah.
and there's obviously some myths around, women being on their periods and the participation
Mm,
in sports. Comrades last year also added sanitary towels along the the water points. Can you talk to us about that as a woman and participating in ultras? Because it's
yeah.
almost like 6 hours plus of
Mm.
running.
Yeah, I know it can be daunting, and you may be like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? I can't race. But actually, Two Oceans 2 years ago, I was on my period and I came third. So I was like, well, that was pretty good. And yeah, I think you've just got to, I certainly feel that doing exercise makes me feel better. And there's been research done to show that it can help with a lot of symptoms.
Mm,
And I know it can be like stressful if you're like, what am I going to do? What if I start during the race? But maybe it's then about like, okay, I know it might happen, so I'm going to wear black shorts. I'm going to maybe carry some sanitary stuff on me. or like Comrades did, it's on the route.
Mm.
So it is just a little bit about planning as well, so it's not a surprise if because it can differ like month to month by a couple of days. And if you're stressed and anxious going into a race, yes, you can start your period earlier. Sometimes it can push it a little bit later. So if you in that ballpark, just it's almost like setting yourself up for success. Like, where the things that you think are going to make you feel comfortable, don't worry, because there's been so much research done to show that we are, our hormones are at the optimal level to perform when you're actually on your period.
Oh.
So, I know you can sometimes not feel great, but
Mm.
actually your body is in like a great position to like race hard. So don't stress about it. Think about what you can do. Maybe have someone on the route that can help you. And also, like, don't be, if something happened, like you start your period whilst you're racing, like, luckily for us, there's loads of supporters along the route. And I'm sure if you
Mm.
stopped and be like, can someone help me?
Yeah.
Someone will. And I think it's taking that like stigma away. And, if you need the help, just ask for it,
Mm.
because, there's other ladies that will like jump at the chance to be able to help you.
Yeah. And
Um,
look, I think in the running community, the camaraderie is,
yeah,
and I've spoken to a lot of people who have done the comrades, and they say you actually make so many friends
yeah.
along the route. And, also with some of the races that I've ran, it's quite nice at the back, and the camaraderie there at
Mm.
the back is also quite sweet. But you are one who runs in the front most of the time.
Yeah, normally around guys, I'll be like, hey
Yeah.
guys, can anyone help me out? No?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But talking about that, can you talk to us about your first ultra race? How was that and what happened?
My first ultra was actually a trail ultra that I did in Switzerland, and I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. It was 44, 45 kilometers in the mountains, and I was like, I can run in the mountains. I'll be all right. Turns out running at 3,500 meters is quite difficult. Um, and it was a bit of a shock to the system, but at the same time, I loved it. It was fun, and because that one was on the trail, like the pace and the time that I was doing was irrelevant. Like it literally, I think I
Mm,
did 7 hours. So it didn't matter because you can't compare it to the road. So I think,
yeah.
for other people that are thinking about getting into ultras, maybe even looking for one that's on a trail if you're a little bit nervous and scared, because you can't compare your times. So for me, it was a nice stepping stone before I got sucked into the world of comrades and oceans.
Okay. And so beginner's guide, what someone who's watching this and they're thinking, look, I want to do this ultra running thing, but I don't know how to approach it. I'm still doing your 5Ks, your 10Ks. How do I approach it? Is it over years? Like, when do I start? How do I approach getting into ultra running?
Yeah, I do think, personally for me, I've kind of gone through all the distances. So I did 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon, 50, like, and slowly built up through them. Um, and I think that was a nice way to do it, because each one is like a stepping stone to the next. So you're not biting off more than you can chew.
Mm.
Um, I have seen people that have gone from a marathon all the way up to a 100 miler and kind of missed off everything in between. And as long as you give yourself enough time and you prepare properly, then you'll be fine. But it's not, I think sometimes we can set quite crazy goals where it's like, I'm going to do an ultra in 8 weeks. And you're like, oh, you can, but you're probably going to die and it's going to be rubbish. So, they're really hard as it is. So, set yourself up for success. Give yourself enough time to build the training. If you don't want to go through the distances, build through that training, learn how to fuel yourself, get as much like tips and information on how to do it properly before throwing yourself in at the deep end. And basically, like, if you can run for 4 hours, you can run for 8 hours. It's about getting your head in the game.
Mm.
And don't think, oh, because I'm going to go and do comrades and run for 12 hours, that you need to go and do 12-hour training runs. You
Okay.
don't. Um, but it's about getting that mindset and understanding, I'm going to have to do this for 12 hours. I need to fuel myself for 12 hours. And I think it's more about having the time and the patience to practice that over your training block, however long that's going to be.
And there's also the running kit part,
Mm,
and with women's sports bras, I think is a big one, especially if you're going to be out there for a very long time.
yeah.
Do you have sort of like go to, equipment that you use? For instance, running shoes, the vests, and sports
Yeah,
bras
this is
that you would suggest?
Yeah, my sister actually has just started running and is doing her first marathon, and she was like, "Someone told me running is cheap, and it's not because
It's
you
not.
think all I need is running shoes, and it's like, no, sorry, you need the shoes, the
Yeah.
socks, the anti-chafe, the belt, the vest." Um, to be honest, all the kit that I wear is Hoka kit, and I do find it really comfortable. I tend to wear Versus socks. I wear Hoka shoes. Um, Running belt, I still haven't found one that is like perfect. Because I normally, with a belt in training, I'll have a water bottle at the back and put my gels at the front. So I'm still looking for the right one of those where stuff doesn't bounce all over the place. Um, but I would say the most important thing, and I get asked this quite a lot with like, what shoes should I get? And Paris, one of my physio friends, says it should be the Goldilocks effect. So when you go, it shouldn't be like, oh, they're quite right. Maybe they'll be all right if I wear them in. Back in the day, we used to have to break in running shoes. You should put on a pair of shoes and be like, oh, those are comfortable.
Mm.
I can run in those for 4, 5, 6 hours. So the most important thing is the comfort, making sure that stuff fits properly and it's comfortable. And then I'm also all for like looking
Ah,
good. So, because if you look good in the outfits that you choose, and you choose, maybe you want to wear like all black because you look cool, or you want to wear crazy colors. I think if you look good, you're going to feel good and you're going to have fun out there. So, firstly, make sure it's comfortable. And then, second, make sure you look good.
and one thing, so you talk, my mind just went back to your training. I see you train with a lot of men, and you're surrounded by men during your training runs. Is that like, can you talk to us about that? Does that help you? Does that build your confidence when you're competing with your fellow females?
Yeah, we have a really nice group here in Cape Town. We've got some girls in the group as well, which is
Okay.
awesome, and more ladies. Come join me, please. Um, for me, it's just about having like a really fun group. There is no way that I would like A, race as well as I do, B, have as much fun as I do, or enjoy running as much if I didn't have the group that I train with.
Mm.
They're my friends that I go and meet every morning for a coffee and a run and a hot chocolate, and you talk rubbish afterwards. And that is like the best bit about running for me, is having those, like the friendship and the camaraderie.
Yes.
And like sometimes on our session, we did a really hard session on the weekend. You're not talking to each other whilst you're doing it, and you hate your life. But at the end, you're all like, we've all hated life and nearly died together. And I think that's part of the fun. So, yeah, having that group and a group to train with for me is super important.
Mm,
And it's the part of running that I love the most. Like, it's never a chore to go running when I get to
mm,
go with those guys and girls. And, you know, I think for anyone starting out, like when I first came to Cape Town, I didn't really know anyone, and we've kind of made, I got introduced to Ron, and then we kind of have, like, other people have joined our group since then, and yeah, it's now a great group. We've got about 20 people in it, so don't be scared to make your own group. And I run up and down the prom, and if I see anyone that I think looks the same pace as us, I'm like, oi, come and join us.
Okay. And lastly, before we go into the questions, because I saw some people have asked a few questions. So before we go into the questions, you were at Gerda's launch yesterday. Can you give us a few, what was happening there? Sneak peek into
Yeah.
what happened yesterday.
Yeah, so there's a new documentary coming out. I think it is the 21st of March, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a documentary about herders. It's basically from about Omdidam last year up until Valencia Marathon in
Oh, okay.
December, and about basically how she dominates the world of ultra
Mm,
running.
mm,
Comrades, Oceans, and a bit about the Olympics and her journey um, all the way through. And then, yeah, it was really nice and fun to watch. And I think like Herda's amazing. She
mm,
came across like
mm,
so well in the video, and like knowing her and being one of my friends, it was nice to see that they caught the essence of who she was, and like nothing was
mm,
changed. So that's exactly how she is in real life. And I think it's really nice that this documentary has been made. And I said to her, it's just such a nice thing as well for her to keep as a, it's like one of those memories that she
mm.
then got forever. So yeah, I'm really excited for everyone else to see it. And I think it will give everyone a little bit of motivation and excitement and hype going into ultra season.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, thanks for that. Let me just go into the questions. Ooh, there's quite a few comments. Let's see. I'm gonna try and okay, let me just oh, technology. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's one. Oh, this is just a statement. Please save the video. Just looking for the questions. Oh dear. Okay, can anyone do anything in December?
So
Oh,
I
I
think
think
that was
there was
about the marathon. So the marathon that I did was on the 1st of December. So I think that was good. 1st of December, and then you can chill. Yeah, and like I still ran and stuff in December, but I definitely ate a lot of Christmas cake and enjoyed myself. So yeah,
look.
if you are going to do a marathon, maybe don't do it on like Christmas Day, but do it early. So then you can enjoy December.
Yeah. Look, I don't know how it takes a really disciplined person to train during
Yeah.
December. So look, I salute you for that.
Mm.
And then another question is, does having a period tracker help?
Yes, it does. So I just actually use the Garmin app, and I put all mine in the Garmin app, and then you can kind of, it gives you an idea of roughly how many days. So you're like, okay, cool, I know I'm going to start my period in the next couple of days. So yeah, the Garmin app is great. I think there's another one called Fitter Woman, FITR,
Okay.
which is another app that you can use.
All right. Okay, and then another question is, how important are spectators on the route, or do you not notice the screaming because you're running so fast?
They are so important. And it's one of those where you hear everything and it's amazing. Sometimes you are going through like a really tough patch, and it might not look that like we're, you know, smiling and happy and enjoying it, but you are. And you're just like, come, like you are getting it through. So even if any runner comes past you and they look like they hate their life, they don't. And yes, 100%. You hear, and sometimes it's weird. You'll like hear someone say your name, but it doesn't register until like you're past that person. You're like, oh my God, that was my friend. I feel really bad. So yes, super important. Keep on spectating, and just keep shouting at us because we love it. Well, I certainly do.
Ah. Awesome. And then Musa says, "Hey Carla, you always seem like you're enjoying yourself out there, which is great. What's your advice for down run novices? How is it different to the up run? I'm taking the big C."
Hello, my friend. Um, Firstly, so the first down run that I actually did well at, I was running down Fields Hill, which is like basically the long big hill. You'll know when you're on it because it feels like you're on a highway and it kind of curves round. It's at about 60K, I think, into the race. So it's quite far in. And this guy was running next to me, and on his number it said 13, which meant he had done 13 comrades and an A seeding. So I was like, okay, this guy probably knows what he's going on about. And he was just like to me, slow down. I was like, okay. He's like, slow down, chill out, hold it, hold it. I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to him. So I slowed down, and then we got to the bottom of that hill going into Pine Town, and he's like, okay, now you can go. And I was like, okay. And actually, I think that saved my legs from blowing up. So that hill, it's really steep, it's really hard. So just think to yourself, slow down just a little bit, hold it back a little bit, and then when you get to the bottom of that hill, then open it up and go. And the same for like all the hills before, going down Polly's. Don't think that you're like Usain Bolt and you're going to go and smash it down there, because it will come back to bite you. So err on the side of caution in the first part of the race. Also, the first 35K, a lot of it is uphill, which no one tells you. Like, you are just climbing. So don't be scared when you get to the initial start and you're like, someone said this is the down run, but I'm just going up. You're basically going up to 60K and then you go down. And also, during the race, you basically start to feel DOMS, which is like where your muscles feel smashed up. Normally, you'll get like that the day after or 2 days into a race, but you actually get it during the racing, comrades. So don't be worried and think, oh my God, my legs are falling off. I need to stop. I can't go any further. Like, it is painful. So it's just knowing that that pain is going to come in the race. Don't worry about it, unless obviously something is so painful that you can't carry on, then maybe stop. But it is hard and it is tough, but that's like the point of the race. It's hard, it's tough, it's going to hurt a little bit. So just suck it up, don't be an idiot, and enjoy it.
Ah, Carla. And so for someone who's doing the two oceans, the tips that you gave for comrades down run, what are the tips that you'd give for two oceans?
So that I would be, first 30K is flat. So going off there, probably about 10 seconds slower, 15 seconds slower than your marathon pace. So you've got a little bit left in the bank. Going up Chappies, you can go as hard as you feel like you can. There is a false summit going up Chappies. You'll see this pile of rocks and you're like, that is the top. That is not the top. There is two of them. So you've got to get past that first corner and then you'll actually see the Chappies Peak. So going down Chapman's Peak, again, set yourself a goal where you don't go any faster. So mine, I think, was like, I don't want to go faster than 3:45 a kilometer per kilometer, because I know if I do that, I'm going to smash my legs up. So figure out whatever that pace is for you. It probably wants to be around your marathon pace. Don't go faster than that on the downhill. But then once you get into Hout Bay, again, hard up Constantianek, there is the best cheer zone at the top of Constantianek, where all you want to do is walk, but you can't because everyone is cheering, so you've got to run. And then coming down Constantianek, that forget about the pace then and just run really hard. And then the best cheer zone in the world at any race is at about 2K to go. So get yourself ready, and you, as you go through that, just smile and wave and lord it up and have the best time, because it is like a party and they are going to make you feel awesome. So just go mental through that bit and that will carry you through to the finish line.
Thank you. And the next question is, what supplements do you think are essential for runners?
Supplements, I think in the winter, vitamin D we need. I think the rest of the supplements you can get from food, although some people do struggle with hitting protein targets, because you do actually need quite a lot of protein for recovery. So maybe a protein shake once a day to up your protein. And there has recently been some like really interesting research around creatine, which can help with like top end speed recovery, but I need to do a little bit more research on that before I kind of go into that. But I think as long as you're having like a healthy, well balanced diet, you actually don't need a lot of supplements unless you are vegan, vegetarian, and you're cutting out a certain food group. You then do need to be very conscious to make sure you are hitting all your micro and macronutrient targets. So I'd say the only really essential one is vitamin D.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then Jake wants to know what's the plan for comrades?
What's the plan? Go till you blow. That is my plan. I'm going to destroy myself, and hopefully I won't be in a sprint finish like I was last year, because that was a little bit
Oh
emotional.
yeah,
Oh
yes.
my
Oh,
God. That I was like, I kept on having this dream that I
oh,
was going to be in a sprint finish. And I was
oh.
like, no, man, surely.
Yeah,
And
you
then
and
I was. Worst thing ever. But yeah, hard as I can until I die.
yeah. And then the original John Harris says, are you accepting of super fans?
John Harris, go away. You know you're my number one super fan, John, but I will ban you.
Hi, John, John, John. And then Izzy Tebele says, not a question, but we just want to say we love you. When you come to Durban, please come run with us.
Sure.
I also want to come, you guys. I also want to come. Oh, I definitely want to go join them when I go down to Durban.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question, let's see. Uh, no, Milan. Milan says, Zintle, tell us about your running. Oh my goodness, my running.
Yeah, go on.
Oh my goodness. Look, I'm just a social runner. Yeah, I used to run I used to run fast in my junior days, made the national team back in my years, but now I'm just running for fun, just to try and remove the legacy that my kids have left me. They've left me quite a nice legacy here by my belly. So I'm trying to remove that, just keeping healthy. And I'm also just addicted to the sport. The sport is very addictive.
Are you
So
doing Oceans and Comrades as well?
I was going to, but now I have to
Oh,
work on the day. So, comrades, no.
okay.
I no. Yeah, comrades, not yet. Comrades, maybe in the next 5 years or so. If I do it, because that thing is. But two oceans, definitely. I want to try that in the next 2, 3 years. So yeah, if I don't do it, I'll do another ultra.
What are
So
you going to be doing at it this year?
I had registered, but I actually have to work on the day.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah. So look, I've taken the first step.
Yep.
I've taken the first step, but yeah, maybe in the next few years, maybe in the next 2 to 3 years or so,
Nice.
I might just do it. So I'm also taking some notes, so I actually got a few notes as well. So yes, yeah, but my running is all about fun. Carla's running is more interesting than
No, I
mine.
think all running should always be about fun. Like that should be, if you're not having fun and you're not enjoying it, like
Mm.
why you do it. Like I have some people say like, oh, I just hate running. Like I'm like,
What?
like there's 20 million sports out there. Do one that you love, because that I think like running, it is really fun.
Yeah.
And yes, sometimes it hurts, but trust me, find a nice group. I don't know how you feel, and that post-run coffee is where it's at.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then who's Tash Shiles? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Could you give us some advice on increasing your weekly mileage?
Um, yeah, slowly. I think gradually increasing it. I've probably increased mine now. It's taken me like 3 years to add on like an extra 25 kilometers a week. So I've just be patient, um, gradually increase it. I would also think about like practically, you might say, let's just use an example. I want to run 80 kilometers a week, or let's do it in hours. I want to run for 8 hours a week. First of all, you need to sit down and figure out how much time do you actually have in your week. Because there's no point saying, I want to increase my mileage and I want to do more if you haven't got time. Because you need to think about your work, your family, your kids, your friends, your partner. And if you're going to set a goal of wanting to do a certain amount of volume, but that's going to come to like compromise the rest of your life, then actually where you are at the moment might be good. So think about that first, figure out how much time you actually have. And for anyone that I coach, I try and get them to sit down and be like, each day, tell me how much time you have available.
Mm,
And then once you've figured that out, you can gradually increase it. They say you can add 10% a week, but that is a lot. And I don't see
mm,
jumping up that quickly. But getting to the point where, yeah, you feel good, you can recover, you're doing your like easy runs easy. And if you then feel like at the end of the week, actually, I think I can do a little bit more, maybe you add on an extra 20 minutes to a run the next week. But just be cautious and build it up slowly. Don't go from 60K a week to 100 because you're going
mm.
to,
Oh,
yeah, sorry.
I'm kidding. Hey, I've seen a lot of things. Runners
No,
can
no, no.
can do that.
Yeah.
So Nati says, Carla, you always greet with a smile, and that's really heartwarming for a fun runner. Will you join on Matt Nelson with your team here one day? I think it's Matt Nelson, MT
Where's
Nelson.
that?
I'm not sure. Will you
Send
join
me
on
send me a
MT
message
Nelson?
with the information. Yeah.
Okay, Nati, got that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Next question. Waiting for Carla Molinaro cooking for runners to drop.
Coming, coming. Don't you worry.
Oh, I want to see that. I mean, the mango sandwich.
Yeah, my bonnet
Um,
is smelling so good. I'm so excited about this.
and then Matlolan. Oh my goodness, I'm butchering this name. Let me rather not say it. Hi, my champs. Have you done any research on glucose intake during the race?
Yeah, so taking gels on when you race is super, super important. And it can make your life a million times easier. I actually did a post about it a couple of days ago, so you can just go onto my page and you can see it there, and all the numbers are there. But essentially, the more carbohydrates you can get inside your body in the race, the longer you're going to be able to go at a higher intensity. So, um, generally, they say between from 90 minutes to 2 hours, you want about 60 grams of carbohydrates. 2 to 3 hours, you want about 90, and then over 3 hours, 90 and above. However, you need to gradually increase that amount. If you've never taken on a gel before, please don't go and smash 10 gels on your run because it's not going to end well. Maybe start off with like one every 40 minutes in a run. If you're like, cool, that was great. Next time you run, you can go and have one every 35 minutes, then every 30, and gradually get to the point where you think, oh, okay, that feels about right. But yes, definitely, the more carbs you can get on, the better you're going to do. You also need to think about the practicalities as well. So if you think, oh, I can take on 100 grams of carbs an hour, which is a lot, that is amazing. But if you're doing a race where you physically can't carry that much on you, it's a little bit pointless setting that as your race nutrition goal. So figure out how you're going to carry it. I have a little belt around my waist and I know how many gels I can carry in that, and then I divide that between, so let's say I've got 10 gels, I'll divide that over 3 hours, and then that's how often I'll have one. So just kind of work that out as well. Sometimes you can get topped up with stuff along the race, but at Two Oceans, it's actually very difficult for people seconding you to see you throughout the race, if you want them to be at the finish line. So you kind of, for Oceans, maybe you can get away with someone seeing you once, for a little top up. But yeah, the more you can get on, the better.
And I think you also touch on such, advice on your page as well,
Yeah,
and your running app.
yeah,
Is it a running app? It's a sports
yeah,
app.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
So I
that's all
think,
there.
yeah, so I think I lost the name now. So I think he can visit, or he or she can visit your page and that app, sign up for that app to get all those tips,
Yes,
right?
thanks. And I'm going to do one about caffeine this week, which I think is also really
Oh,
important.
okay,
So that's coming
lovely.
soon.
I'm gonna wait for that one. Figile, well done, team, with the purple hearts. I'm enjoying the interview. Very informative. Thank you. I think Figile is also a purple member.
Yes.
The running therapist, love you, fam. No questions, but we will be there to second the members on water points. Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys help a lot. Let's look for the next one. Izidebele, I am excited to see we've been joined. We've been joined the chat by the newest sub 4 marathoner, Zulu. Okay, I think that's just a comment. And then what's your biggest advice for a new runner? That's Danny Isaacs.
Um, Setting yourself a goal. So having something to work towards. It could be a 5 year goal of I want to run Oceans in 5 years. It could be a short term one of I want to do 4 park runs this year, or a marathon, whatever it is. Sit down and set one, because I think it's really nice then to have something to work towards and kind of have a purpose for wanting to go out. It can also just be, my goal is to meet more friends
Ah,
and I want to have like a social circle. So whatever it is, I think having a purpose to why you run is nice, especially, on those days where you're like, oh, I don't want to go. It's nice to kind of come back and remind yourself. And then I know some people like the solitude of running alone, but I really like running with a group. So yeah, if you are a bit more social and want that group aspect, I do think it can make a massive difference to your running. So finding people to run with, I think, is a win.
yeah, I agree with that. And then Sprockster, how often do you incorporate heels in your training?
Um, It kind of depends. If we've kind of just done like a hilly block. So we had about 8 weeks where we were doing hill reps, kind of alternating between long hill reps and short hill reps. And then I might try and throw in like 1 or 2 hillier runs. Today I did a hilly run. Well, I did one hill, but it was hard. So it's a hilly run. And yeah, it kind of depends what I'm training for. But I think going I think we've got like one more hill session before Oceans, and then between Oceans and Comrades on my longer runs, if it's not a session, so like if it's a session would be like a structured workout, 10 by 1K or whatever, I will then try and mimic the Comrades route as much as I can and kind of do the equivalent elevation so my legs get used to what I'm going to be
All
running.
right.
Yeah.
And then Johan says, I'm running my first marathon in 6 days, and I bought new shoes like 2 weeks ago, but they make me so sore. What should I do?
Yeah, if they're making you sore now, I don't think they're going to be great for the
Mm.
race. I know that's probably not very helpful 6 days before you race, but like comfort is key. If you've got time to get another pair that are comfier, then you might be able to. But if you've got like a old faithful that you had been wearing before, that is comfortable, I would probably revert back, because in a marathon you're running harder and faster, and if they're hurting before you even start, um, it's not going to be great. So hopefully you've got another pair in your cupboard that you were wearing that are more comfy, and you can sell that I'm comfortable ones to someone
Yeah.
else.
To someone else. Well, maybe they might find them comfortable,
Yeah, yeah,
actually.
exactly. Like I
Yeah.
find some shoes like that I love them, and other people are like, oh God, no, they're awful. So yeah,
Mm,
what works for one
doesn't
person doesn't work for
work for the
everyone
other.
else.
Yeah, that's true. I love this question. Saring. Okay, I'm not going to say the names because I'm going to. Hi, if I do feel cramps during 25K plus runs, specifically in race format, what could be the reason and how to eliminate that, specifically in the quads, hamstrings, and then in brackets, downhill runs in question?
Okay, cramping is like a really weird one. I get cramp. I don't get cramp when I train at all, ever. As soon as I race, I get cramp. Ocean's Comrades, the past 2 years, I've had the most horrific cramp known to man, and it
Oh.
is not fun. But the first thing you need to do is a lot of the time it's down to conditioning. So making sure that you have trained appropriately for the race that you are doing, and you're not all of a sudden running 30 seconds faster than you ever have before, because your muscles are going to be under slightly more fatigue than normal, and that fatigue can lead to cramping. So have a little think to make sure what you've been doing in training, you are capable of racing at that pace. Second is like, if you are going to go and do a really hilly race, and you only ever practice on the flat, you can then get cramping because all of a sudden you've got this like massive change in terrain. And again, your muscles are under more stress. Salts, electrolytes, questionable. You know, some of the research that has come from it suggests that actually that doesn't really have too much to do with cramping. However, try chuck a salt tab in there, try it, that might work for you. And it may be that actually you do need a little bit more salt and a little bit more hydration. But generally, cramping is due to conditioning. I have tried all the conditioning in the world to get strong, and I still cramp in races, and I don't know what it is, and it drives me insane. I've tried to drink pickle juice, which someone told me to drink because it
How
helps
does
with
that
cramp.
taste?
It is absolutely disgusting, and I can confirm it does not help with cramp. Someone was
Thank you.
like, they tried it with the England rugby team and it helped. And I'm like, are those guys on drugs? Because I'm telling you now, it was the most disgusting. And one of my friends, she came to my house and I'd been putting it into bottles, and she's like, what is that smell? I'm like, yeah, I've been doing shots of pickle juice. She's like, you are weird. I was like, I know. So I've tried that on your behalf, but start off making sure your training is at the right pace, you're doing the right stuff in the gym. So if you haven't been doing strength training, definitely all runners I think should be doing strength training
Mm.
anyway. Get in the gym, do your strength, and then, for me, I can't figure out what it is, and I just have to suck it up. I'm like, it's just going to hurt, I'm just going to get cramp. I know it's coming, and then I just ride it out. Hopefully strength and the training will help you and you won't have to suck it up, because it's not fun.
Yeah, one of the twins, Melissa, she's asking, how did you find strength training changed your running, and how much time do you spend on strength training a week? And then she's asking for a friend.
um, so I think the biggest thing with strength is, so firstly, when I first started, I did my SCY 1 session a week. So I did that, and I have done that every single week for 4 years because I have to for my job.
Mm.
But within that time, I haven't been injured because I do strength and I do a lot of volume. And I think the biggest thing strength has given me is keeping me injury free. I now actually do 3 strength sessions a week. So I do my
Ooh.
1 SCY 1 and my 2 heavyweight sessions, and all the heavyweight sessions are on my app as well. Everything is up there for everyone. And I think so. Like a couple of weeks ago, I say I don't get injured. Like a couple of weeks ago, I had a little niggle in my hamstring. I was like, oh my God, that feels a little bit weird. But then I smashed out these exercises for 2 days and it was gone. And I think that's also because I do so much strength, my body can like really react to something, and it knows how to, like, when it's been given that stimulus, it can fix itself. So I do think strength, it's going to keep your injuries away. And I always say you can either do strength when you want to and because you want to, or you can do it because you have to, because you're injured. And trust me, the second one is way worse, when you can't run and you've got to go to the gym every single day and do rehab. It's much better to be like, actually, I want to do it on these days at this time, and I can go with my friends, or I can go by myself and listen to a podcast and get it done. So yeah, just do your strength. It makes you more resilient, keeps your niggles away. And for me, I think that's the biggest part of it.
Yeah. It's like doing what you don't want to do so that you can keep doing what you
Yeah,
want to do.
100%. Like, no one likes, I was injured ages ago and had to aqua jog for 6 weeks and wanted to kill myself. So I never want that to happen again.
So Grant says, hi Carla, absolutely love your energy. How do you feel about mixing up your training to include trail running in preparation for a road marathon?
Um, I love, if I could do all of my easy runs on the trail, I would, like, 100%. I think trail is great. It's easier on your body. So trail, dirt, jeep track, any of that, it's easier on your muscles and easier on your body. I try to get onto the trails a couple of times a week. Sometimes I find it a little bit harder because the trails in Cape Town are really technical and really hilly. So I do listen to my body, and as much as I would love to get up on the mountain all the time, if I am really tired, I will stick to a flatter run. But I do think they make you strong, they make your muscles work in a different way. And yeah, if you can get onto the trails, get onto them. But maybe in the week of a race, stick to the road.
Okay. Oh, Carla, I think this session was very informative. Thank you so much. I took a few notes for myself as well. And I think a lot of the viewers and those who are still going to view it as well really appreciate the insight that you've brought. I don't know if you've got any other comments that you'd like to share, anything you'd like to share um, before we close the session.
No, I just want to say thank you for chatting with me. It was, like, really fun and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, if any, I guess a closing comment, if anyone does have any questions, just, like, reach out and ask, and I try and answer all the questions that I do get. So yeah, ask away. Nothing stupid. And thank you so much for your time and chatting to me. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
thank you. Well, thanks to the guys that also tuned in. And we're gonna do this again, right? We're
We
gonna
are.
do this again, yes. So look out for the next session. And from us, it's good night.
Goodbye. See you all soon.
I have to figure out how to close this.
Just press the X, I
Oh,
think.
okay, thank you.
Maybe. Goodbye.
Cheers, cheers.